Welcome to Gainesville, otherwise known as the Swamp, here from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the site for this SEC matchup and rivalry game between the Florida State Seminoles and the Florida Gators. I'm David Roy, and in the booth with me is Mike Peters, the commissioner of the CFSL. And Mike, both teams come into this looking to get a little bit closer to realizing a playoff berth. What do you expect?
Well, I expect it to be a close game, much like we saw in the first game. A hard-fought game. Both of these teams battling for position in their conference. Both of them have a shot at a conference crown. They want this. It's important. It's a rivalry game. I think it's going to come down to the final possession.
Dakota Wolf will get this one out to the 28, where this Florida offense, led by Matthias St. John, will take possession, and St. John going to give it to Bentley Jones, and Jones will pick up 5.
Well, they need to use Bentley Jones a little bit more than they have been all season long. He's averaging under 15 carries a game. This guy is an elite talent. You got to give him the ball more.
Going to go to the back, or to the shotgun now, and a blitz coming as St. John floats that to the left sideline. Kellen Irvin had to really climb the ladder to pull it down.
Yeah, kind of an ill-advised pass. You really don't want to throw across your body like that and leave a lot of air under it. Lucky it didn't get picked off. They wound up picking up enough yardage out of it to make it worthwhile.
St. John going to take off and run here, and he'll have the first down out across the 45. That's a gain of 9.
Well, St. John's really broken out as a runner this year, averaging over 100 yards a game rushing, and he's also got 5 rushing touchdowns coming in. It's been a new wrinkle to this offense that they see more than they usually did, and it's part of the reason they started off the season 3-0.
St. John to throw, and the ball comes free, courtesy of Zach Howard, and it's a sack for a loss of 8.
Well, the left tackle is smart there and aware, and he's able to jump on top of that. Could have been disastrous for Florida to lose that on the opening possession, but the left tackle heads up there to jump on it, but it is still going to be an 8-yard loss.
We're wide. St. John in the pistol, and St. John to throw. Quick throw, right side, and that pass caught by Ty Penton. He'll get back some of the yardage lost on the previous play, but it's still a long 3rd and 12.
Well, you'd really like to pick up more than that if you're on 2nd and 18. You'd like to get at least halfway there. They didn't get quite there, so it's going to be a long 3rd down.
John taking a shot to the left sideline, and Ty Penton picks up 31.
Well, that was a heck of a catch there. Heck of a throw, too. It was in coverage. And, well, he was actually open for a second. It was Pence coming back that made that contest that he bailed on him for a second. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he was trying to entice the pass. He got it, but a great catch there.
All the way down inside the 25, and it's a handoff to Bentley Jones running right, and he'll move this Florida offense down inside the red zone. Mike Jones, his 2nd carry of the night.
Well, it's only his 2nd carry. Fortunately for Florida, they're moving the ball well, but I definitely want to see Bentley Jones have over 20 carries in a game.
I'm still reeling from the fact that they led with a handoff to Jones. That pass over to the right side dropped.
Well, they definitely need more catches like they had on the outside. They can't afford those drops. They get one there. Still a 3rd and 4, but the way they've moved the ball, they really don't want to settle for a field goal.
4 wide. St. John to throw, blitz coming, and that pass over to the flats for Kellen Irvin. He'll pick up 3, but he needed 4.
Well, he's a little off on his pass there, leads his receiver a little bit too far outside, but they're going for it. I like to see this from Florida here at home.
Empty backfield here for Matthias St. John. They only need to get inside the 15 as St. John finding the wide open walk-on Ashton Jones out in the flats.
Well, they found the off coverage there. They were playing all the way back into the end zone. And a nice, easy throw there for St. John to pick up the first.
It's the 11th play of the current drive, and it's 1st and 10. St. John going to take off and run, and Zach Howard there to contain him and bring him down for a loss of 2.
Well, they switched Zach Howard on sides. Usually he was on the left. This time they move him to the right, and he's already come up with his 2nd sack of the game.
And playing well, and really, Mike, Florida State making that adjustment, likely to keep Matthias St. John in the pocket.
Well, it's working so far. He's got a 2nd sack so far on this one. Coming in, he only had 1, so he's already tripled his total on the first drive of the game.
St. John to throw, and it's a quick throw and nearly intercepted by Kevin Watts.
Kevin Watts is going to see that back on film when they look back on it this week, and he's going to hang his head because that had 6 points written all over it.
So a long third down again for Florida. St. John to throw. Wants the end zone. That pass intercepted by Juan Cantu, and Cantu will kneel it, and so Florida State will take over.
Yeah, not quite sure what St. John saw there. He had an underneath defender in Rob Money and over-the-top defender in Cantu. He tried to thread that one in there. Maybe he could do it if he throws a little bit quicker, but waited too long on it, and just a mistake there by St. John.
It was a 13-play drive, and Florida comes away with no points as Vidar Lund, his opening carry, gets no yards.
Markevius Oswald getting in there for the stuff. It's his 6th tackle for loss of the season. Hasn't necessarily made the impact with the stats you like, but he's definitely made an impact pushing that pocket.
Markevius Oswald transferred over from Michigan in the offseason. Is that pass complete by Adonis Jackson? He'll find Lund, and it's a gain of 10.
Well, if you can't get your running back going against the big man in the middle, might as well go to him on a little angle route behind. Nice pickup there, and going to set up a very short 3rd and 1.
Jackson in the gun as the defense trying to get the home fans involved early, and the read option keeper pans out as Jackson gets the 2 yards for the first down.
Well, they did what they needed to there. They went with the read option. It's a good idea there. A lot of athleticism out of Jackson. Lund's a good back, and it moves the chains.
Thomas Jackson to throw. It's a 3-man rush and a quick throw at that for the tight end Monte Jones as he gets 10 yards himself.
Monte Jones came into the game leading the team in catches with 27, but 27 just doesn't feel like that many. He hasn't been as explosive as I think a lot of us thought he would be.
And off Lund running to the right side. He's got space. Breaking one tackle, but cannot get away from Markevius Oswald on his second effort. But it's a 19-yard play, and Florida State down in Gator territory.
Well, you got to tip your cap when the big man's running downfield, all 325 pounds of him getting downfield to make that tack. But a great run and great blocking there for Florida State.
Longest play of the drive for the Seminoles here tonight is a handoff on the counter run for Vidar Lund, breaking one, cannot break two as he'll get 9 yards there, second down.
Well, Lund's averaging 9 yards a carry, and if they can keep him going at that rate, they're going to be in good shape. He came in only averaging 4.7. Florida State really wants to get that up.
Play fake, Jackson to throw. And it's a quick throw out into the flats here, and breaking one tackle, still on his feet. And a flag thrown there as Jalen Waters got it down to the 21.
Clipping. Offense.
Well, that's not going to help them as they got the first down, but now they're going to go 15 yards back, and it's going to be a 2nd and 7.
So Jalen Waters had got it down, was knocking on the red zone, and the 5-star tight end, Monte Jones, is the guilty party there and costs the first down. So 2nd and 7, and Adonis Jackson here to throw. Quick throw over the middle, and that's for Lund. He'll get 8 yards, and Florida State does get the first down.
Well, it's another one of those angle routes, second time that they've gone to him, and both times it's been the first time it was just short of the first down. That one picks up the first down, and Florida's going to have to adjust and account for that, him coming out of the backfield.
Jones, the tight end in motion. Triple option for Adonis Jackson, but he does not get much. Andrew Mott came downhill to keep Jackson to a 2-yard gain.
Well, it was a good job there by the Florida defense, rather, to keep that all in front of them and not let them pick up many yards on that option.
Now they're going to empty out the backfield here for Adonis Jackson as he looks to get over 1,000 yards through the air this season. And the quick pass for Jade Brady picks up 12.
Brady's first catch was nice. They spread out the entire defense. They go with a bunch of short curls, and the Florida defense just playing too far off, and they get the first down.
Jackson 4 for 4 on the drive as Lund gets a carry, shakes off Muhammad Damore, and then shows that power to fall forward and get 7.
Well, Wyatt King was the one that finally brings them down, but he struggled with it as well as Vidar Lund. It looks like he wants to make a statement here against the Gators.
Empty backfield here on second down. Jackson, little quarterback draw, but he runs into the mammoth. That is the Mountain Oswald.
Well, apparently the AD and head coach of Florida, Hunky Dory, promised Barkevius Oswald all-you-can-eat Oreos or something after this game, because this is as well as we've seen him play in a while.
6, Jackson to throw to the end zone, and that pass caught down at the, no, they're going to say he dropped it.
Well, good job there by the Florida defense to lock him down. They're not giving a whole lot of space on the passing game there, and so they locked that one down. They forced the drop, and they forced Florida State into the field goal attempt.
This one from 27 yards away, and Blake Harrell delivers. That makes him 6 of 10 on the season from distance, Mike.
Well, it's not that distant. It's pretty much an extra point, but we've seen Blake Harrell struggle. He went 0 for his first 4 of the season, and now he started the rebound nicely.
Colin Irvin's going to get a decent return out of this one. And Mike, Florida drove all the way down there, and they came away with no points because Juan Cantu picked it off in the end zone.
Well, if they put together another nice drive, they got to prevent turning it over. That's still the big knock on Matthias St. John, as he had 3 picks, only 2 touchdowns coming in. He's got 4 picks now. He's got to be a little bit better at protecting the ball.
He's going to take a shot to open up the drive, and that is Tyler Wilson picking up 17.
Well, when you get a cornerback that picks you off, you might as well attack him on the next play and try to get in their head. Actually, that was Rob Money that was in coverage, so you definitely want to go to your wide receiver on the linebacker, and a perfectly placed ball there by St. John.
Out across to their own 42, and St. John play fake. Throwing that one and nearly intercepted by Akuma Taloke.
And Taloke's going to go back, much like Kevin Watts, and hang his head as that one wasn't 6, but it was definitely a turnover on your side of the field if he holds on to it.
Empty backfield here. St. John to throw, and a quick throw into coverage, and it's ultimately dropped. So now 3rd and 10 for the Gators.
The decision making is what St. John really needs to improve on. He throws that in the triple coverage, just not an advised throw there.
St. John checking it down. The walk-on stumbling, gets 8 and out to midfield. That's Quentin Payne, but Florida will decide to punt.
Well, they go short there, and I don't really like that. You want to throw it past the first down marker. I get it. You're trying to pick up some yards after the catch. But it doesn't happen there. Excellent job by the Florida State defense. And now we'll see if their offense can finish a drive.
And the question, too, becomes, we haven't seen Adonis Jackson really run it a lot. And he's had some struggles with turnovers as well.
Well, he has, and he turned the ball over quite a bit early on in the season. He's gotten a little bit better at it lately, but they're just not moving the ball well overall. Coming into the game, they're 3rd worst in total offensive yards per game.
They're going to open things up by going with Lund, and he'll get 8 to open up the drive. And Mike, very clearly, Lund is a featured part of this offense.
Well, I think that's a good idea. Even though you got Wyatt King on the opposite side, you want to establish the running game.
They will hear speed option, and Adonis Jackson able to break the tackle from Fernando Rivera, and then is forced to keep it and get the first down.
Yeah, Jackson's a speedy guy. He can definitely make something happen with his feet, but he's only averaging about 70 yards a game. They'd like to see that go up as well.
Jackson to throw here, and it's a check down for the tight end Monte Jones. He'll get 6 yards.
KJ Wade comes up, makes the nice open field tackle. Definitely could have got run over there by the bigger tight end, but he does a good job.
And that is how we end the first quarter very quickly. But Florida State, a 3-0 lead over the Gators. You're watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube Live. Start of the second quarter, and it's an empty backfield, but they change that up with Jones being the motion man, and Adonis Jackson taking a shot to the left sideline, and Tom Pence comes back for that one, and it's a 13-yard play.
Well, it was great coverage downfield by the Gators, so there wasn't much to work with, but it was also great protection by the Florida State offensive line. Pence does a good job of realizing he needs to come back there, gives him a target, and picks up the first.
Jackson to throw. Quick throw to the middle, and a huge hit being dished out to Kamorian Moore, but he will hold on for an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, you don't really want to lead your receivers into contact like that. They're not going to want to hold on to the ball for you. And Wyatt King is able to deliver the big hit, but props to Kamorian Moore for holding on to that despite the contact.
Oh, and props, too, to Adonis Jackson, the Florida State offensive line, holding up against a fairly decent Florida defensive line. Adonis Jackson, read option keeper. He's got room and speed, and he'll get down inside the 25, a gain of 11.
Well, you can see it a little bit there, the speed of Adonis Jackson. He didn't have a whole lot of room, but if you can get him in the open field, he can break one, and you're just going to have to keep going to it more and give him that opportunity.
And off. Vidar Lund ran right into the teeth of the Florida blitz, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more.
Well, it was a well-timed blitz there by the Florida defense, and they get the stop at the line. Got to be careful with that, though, because if you don't hit it, you got nobody back there to play defense.
Counter run, Lund outside to the right, and he'll be just shy of the line to gain. So 3rd and inches, but Lund, 7 carries, 52 yards.
Well, he's having a nice game, but he's sure not getting the spots that a lot of these other guys have been getting all week long.
3rd and inches. And they're going to give it to Vidar Lund, and Vidar Lund will bring it down to the 10.
Well, Lund says, I don't need the refs to help me out. I'm just going to pick up the first on my own. 1st and goal from the 9. We'll see if the Florida defense can clamp down here.
Pistol set. Hand off again for Lund. He'll break one tackle and fight his way to the goal line. 2nd and goal.
Well, the Zebras got him again. I thought he might have broke the plane there, but they don't give it to him. I suspect he's going to have a couple more shots at it.
From the half-yard line, 2nd and goal. I formation, 2 wide to the right. And Lund, obviously the deep back. They pitch it to him, and Vidar Lund, touchdown, Florida State.
I didn't love that there because they had an overhang defender on the weak side, and I saw Jackson switch to it, but it was an excellent job of blocking for the guys that they had. Lund able to get it in there for his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, and much like we saw in the first game, the road team taking the early lead.
So, Mike, what does Florida have to do to get, back and cut this deficit down to something a little bit more manageable? Because we've seen from an offensive standpoint, they've been fairly diverse so far.
Well, they've been very reliant on the pass, and they've ran a little bit with St. John. I think the run game is their bread and butter, and they just refuse to go to it. And I get it, you won your first 3 games of the season, but it didn't work for you at all against Auburn, being as pass-heavy as you are and not using Bentley Jones as much. And it looks like if they don't switch it, as they take the sack there, that they're going to be right back in the same predicament here as Zach Howard already with 3 sacks in this game.
4 tackles, 4 for loss, and as you mentioned, his 3rd sack of the game. And down goes Matthias St. John, losing 7, so this offense going backwards.
They are, and not a good spot to be in. And again, it's because they're trying to pass. They're not letting Bentley Jones start him off on 1st down.
They're going to give it to him on the draw play, and Bentley Jones going to pick up 5 yards there. Really, they're going to say it's 6 and make it 3rd and 11.
Well, it's a long 3rd down, and they haven't been necessarily great on 3rd downs. They're 2 for 5, and a long one here is not going to help that percentage most likely.
St. John to throw, 4-man rush. Trying to stand in, and he'll find Kellen Irvin, who is able to pick up 19 yards. That's Florida's longest play of the game.
St. John fired a dart there, and again, it was in coverage. But Irvin does a great job there of holding on to that one, making the catch in front of Rob Money, and then turning upfield and getting some extra yards.
Excuse me, it's their 2nd longest play of the game. Their longest of the night was a 31-yard pass to Ty Patton on their opening drive. But either way, a new set of downs here for the Gators. And St. John with an empty backfield as Jones got motioned out of it. And he's going to block for Kellen Irvin, who gets sprung free and down all the way inside the 30 of Florida State.
Well, you've obviously got a weapon here in Kellen Irvin, who's made 2 really nice plays there. If you can balance that with the run game of Bentley Jones and Matthias St. John, I think you've got something working. We'll see if they adapt to go to it. I have a suspicion, though, that they're going to keep trying to force the pass, and I don't know if that's going to work against this Florida State defense.
Down to the 28, pistol, full house here, and St. John play fake. Going to take off and run. Didn't see anything he liked downfield, and he will slide wisely, wanting no part of Tolote.
Well, it's a good job there. They pick up 9, and so he didn't get the first down. That's okay. I say give it to Bentley Jones, but they're going to come out in a 5 wide.
Empty backfield. St. John inside the red zone. Quick throw out in short for the walk-on Marcus Williams, who makes it 1st and goal.
Well, anytime you go spread like that and you go 5 wide, you're going to have a lot of options out there. St. John does a good job to find the guy that's open and get the first down inside the 10.
Ball spotted at the 8. St. John to throw again, but he's going to take off and run. And as he has done a couple of times here tonight and this season, he'll run into the pass rush and lose some yardage.
Well, for the first time tonight, it wasn't Zach Howard getting the sack. Part of me was kind of hoping it was. 5 is the sack record by Michael Sudeikis, and Howard's got a shot at it as he's already got 3 here in a quarter and a half.
So it's 2nd and goal from just inside the 15, but a quick throw and a huge shot dished out to Kellen Irvin as he picks up 9.
Well, that was Kevin Watts there in on the tackle, and he's a little peeved that he didn't pick up that interception on the first drive for Florida, and he's laying the hit there, making his presence felt.
Well, you can see it there. Kellen Irvin, after that hit, looked a little lost, was not quite sure where his huddle was. So 3rd and goal from the 5. St. John, quick throw into coverage. Rob Money bats it away.
Well, St. John's already thrown a pick in the end zone, and he's almost thrown 2 inside the red zone. He's got to get better on his decision making. He was fortunate there that wasn't picked off and that they get a field goal out of this.
And Anthony Hammond delivers to make it a 7-point game from 22 yards away. 3.5 minutes to play, but Mike, what does this Florida defense now have to do to try to get the ball back in the hands of their offense? Because Florida State has been moving the ball well.
Well, Florida's done a decent job on defense. I think they got to just keep everything in front of them. I think the one thing they're really doing a good job on is bottling up Adonis Jackson and not giving him any room to work. And that's pretty much what you got to do. They're going to move the ball at times. They've got good talent out there. You just got to make sure that it's long drives and not big plays.
It's been a lot of long drives as Lund gets the carry here, and he'll pick up 4. As Mike, this is only the 3rd drive of the night for either team.
Well, yeah, and over halfway through the 2nd quarter, that shows you how long these drives have been. So the defenses are doing a good job of limiting the long plays.
Bubble screen and into traffic and incomplete from Adonis Jackson. 3rd and 6.
Well, anytime you can force a 3rd down and 5 or more, you're in a decent shot or a decent spot. They're less than 50% chance of those, and they got one here.
3-man rush. Jackson finding the wide open Brady, and they're going to give him the first down, so he's able to move the sticks.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on that pass coverage there, as they played very soft coverage. You hold them to a 3rd and 6, and you give them a 10-yard cushion. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
That spot at the 41 here, pistol set, play fake. Jackson throwing short, and Jalen Waters will be pushed out of bounds after he picks up 4.
Well, again, they're doing a good job as the Florida defense of keeping everything in front and making them nickel and dime their way down the field. Adonis Jackson, 9 of 11, 77 yards, but eventually you got to think that they're going to turn it over or at least punt.
Well, the Florida defense going to get in the backfield and drive Adonis Jackson backward for a loss of 2.
Well, Fernando Rivera was in there too. I thought he was the one that got the tackle, but they give it to Wyatt King. Either way, a very good job there by the Florida defense.
3rd and 8 now. Jackson. Set the halfback screen to the right. That's Lund. And Vidar Lund's got the first down and some room to run as they'll get out to the Florida 35. It's a gain of 21 for the Seminoles.
Well, we talked about this, I think it was this week's podcast, how Barkevius Oswald's good against the screen despite his size, but Vidar Lund's just a little bit too explosive for him, and the big man, you see him trailing behind there, wasn't able to shut that screen down.
He was wheezing the whole way trying to catch up.
Yeah, he was envisioning those Oreos, but just couldn't muster the speed to chase him down.
Quick throw there, and Monte Jones shakes out of 1 tackle. He'll get 10, but still just shy of the first down marker.
Is all-you-can-eat Oreos even enough to motivate a guy like Barkevius Oswald? I feel like you need some Krispy Kremes and maybe some tacos.
I think you need a lot more than that.
Okay.
He's a big dude. Jackson to throw, and he's going to find the stone hands of Vidar Lund on that play.
Well, I suspect we're going to see a run from Vidar Lund or maybe a read option. I don't like that. I mean, you got 2 shots at it, just pound the ball, but now you only get 1 shot at it, and if you don't get it, you got to punt.
Jackson to throw against the Florida blitz, and a diving deflection there by Wade, I believe, to make that play.
Yeah, the 3-star KJ Wade is the one that deflects that one. Excellent job there in defense. I don't understand why they don't run it there for Florida State. They settle for the field goal instead.
A 43-yard field goal, and Blake Harrell missed it.
Well, Blake Harrell strikes again, and I think we've seen that in real life. We see it with closers. We see it with golfers. You get the case of the yips, and I think Blake Harrell, despite having a nice little stretch there after the opening game, he's back in his head.
So 1:30 to play, and that pass very dangerously thrown for Bentley Jones as he'll lose 2.
Well, Tom Pence was like a glove out there on Bentley Jones. I don't know why you throw that pass, but they wound up losing 2.
St. John to throw, and a quick throw to the left side. That pass dropped. So very quickly, Florida staring at a long 3rd down.
Well, Tom Pence has been all over the last 2 plays, and that's not only do you not really want to test that guy, you don't want to get him fired up, but right now it looks like he's playing with a little bit of passion.
St. John taking a shot downfield, and that pass caught. Tyler Wilson getting it down to the Florida State 41.
Well, if there's one guy you want to attack, it's probably the 4-star safety, Ben Cole, and they go after him there, and they find some room on the outside as Wilson's able to find some space and get the 1st down. That's a better job there, and that's what Florida needs to do. They also got a walk-on in Adam Young that they need to take a look at as well.
From the right hash. Draw play, and Bentley Jones had a crease, but it closed quickly, limiting him to a 2-yard run.
Yeah, the walk-on Justin Thomas is the one that gets in there for the tackle. I don't mind it, though. You got to get Bentley Jones involved, even though it didn't work out for you there.
Seminoles blitzing, and St. John going to get outside of it and showing the wheels as he lowers that shoulder to pick up 16.
I mentioned it earlier. If you're going to go with an all-out blitz, you got to make sure you get it home. St. John does a good job of rolling away from it and picking up the nice game.
John floats that one. There's Irvin picking up 10 and a new set of downs. Florida going no huddle. Ball spotted at the 12. 4 wide, trips to the right. St. John to throw. Quick throw, the walk-on Ashton Jones gets it down to the 5.
They've got plenty of time to punch this in, and they're doing a good job of eating up time and not giving Florida State any time to work if they get the ball back.
St. John trying to run, and he will run into Latrell Graves. That'll cost him 5 yards, 3rd and 9.
Not what you want to see there for Florida.
Pistol set. St. John going to take off and run, fighting to get to the marker, and he's not going to. It's only a 7-yard play. Mike, do you go for it?
I think you got to call a timeout here, but they're not going to. They're just going to settle for the field goal.
Anthony Ammon from 20 yards out to make it a 4-point game before a half, and what is effectively like an extra point, and he does deliver. And so, Mike, as we go to halftime, this has been a very defensive battle. 10-6 our score, and as both teams get ready to make their adjustments, what do you expect those adjustments to be?
You know, at this point, I don't know. I've been begging for Florida to run the ball all season long, and they refuse to do it. You know, I think it's the one way that they can be more consistent on offense. So I don't know if they're really going to change much. I think right now both of the defenses are playing well. Florida State's, I think, doing okay, even though they're not executing as well as maybe they had hoped. I mean, they've got the lead. The Florida defense is good. They're playing well. You know, I don't know if we're going to really see a whole lot change, honestly, in the second half. I think it's going to be a lot more of the same. And, you know, I mentioned it coming in. It's going to be the team with the ball last that probably is going to win. I don't think that's changed, and I don't think they're really going to change what either team is doing offensively.
You look at the two offenses, and that turnover by Florida on their opening drive really seems to be playing a much bigger factor, like, than maybe we anticipated.
I don't remember if Florida got any points off of that drive, but even if they get the field goal, it's a 10-9 game. either way. So it does play a role.
Otherwise, Florida leading in that passing game as they've really been having to rely on that. And like as you said, maybe frustratingly so, avoiding the running game, unlike what Florida State has been doing. And we will see this Florida State offense try to go back to work as Tom Pence going to give his quarterback Adonis Jackson pretty decent field position. And Mike, this is only going to be the 4th drive of the game for the Seminoles.
It's been a lot of ball control, even though Florida State's really not running it a whole lot. They've used a lot of short passes. Both teams playing a ball control offense, which is interesting to see. It's good, especially in a game like this. It's just leading to a defensive battle and a lot of limited possessions.
Adonis Jackson throws that one away on first down, so it brings us to 2nd and 10.
I would like to see some read option, just not here when they're bringing the blitz.
Quick pass out in the flats. Monte Jones being brought down through the combined might of Dakota Wolf and Andrew Mock.
Well, Jones is averaging 7 catches a game coming in, but only 54 yards. And so he's only averaging 8 yards per catch. I'd like to see him more. He is a big, powerful dude. He's got speed. I just don't think they utilize him right.
Empty backfield. Jackson throwing short. There's Brady, and he will move the sticks on that 3rd down as Adonis Jackson just able to find the soft spot in the zone here.
Well, and again, you got to give credit to the defense because both of these defenses are playing well and not giving the deep shot. The offenses will take them, but they're just not there.
And off, and Vidar Lund getting bottled up for no gain by this Florida defensive line.
I want to see the spread that Markevius Oswald's going to have after this game because I want a part of it. It's got to be every food that he likes because he is playing the best game of his career tonight.
Oswald in there as well as defensive end Dylan Wingo. And pressure coming as Adonis Jackson floats that to coverage, and that pass dropped.
Yeah, you definitely want to catch those when you get an opportunity to. It wasn't going to be the first down because they had to come back for it, but you would have rather had a 3rd and 1 than a 3rd and 10.
4 wide, Jackson to throw, 3-man rush, and a quick throw, but into tight coverage, and that pass is also incomplete.
I think that was Akuma Talok that was out there on offense, and Han's not quite able to hold on to that one in coverage. So good job by the Florida defense. Now we'll see if their offense can make something happen.
Kellen Irvin, this punt return. Not going to get a whole lot courtesy of the Florida State special teams. But when you look at the two offenses, Mike, they've been very similar, as you said, playing ball control styled offenses.
And you don't see that a lot in this league. We thought we were going to see more offense in the first game tonight, but you don't see a lot of these grinded out type of defensive games. But in the SEC between these two teams, we probably should have expected it.
Matthias St. John running the triple option. He'll get 8 yards, and Bentley Jones might have been able to get a little bit more if he had pitched it.
Well, you know, you play it safe. You don't want to turn the ball over. You can't really complain there. Florida #1 defense in the league coming in. Florida State #3, so this isn't necessarily a shocker.
Read option keeper and St. John only getting a yard as Talok came downhill, and a big collision there between the two.
I think Talok took the worst of that. He was a little slow getting up. St. John, we talked about, 6'5", 225, not a little dude.
Empty backfield. Need to gang across the 35 to convert, and they will with Kellen Irvin on the grab, and the run gets them all the way down to the 45-yard line.
Well, they brought the cover zero blitz again, and I don't like it on a 3rd and 2 because you only got to find one guy, and you can run him on a drag. They run him on a slant, and they get the first down. I want to see those cover zeros on 3rd and 10, not 3rd and 2.
So, Mike, we've seen this, though, from the Florida offense in the first half. They can move the ball. How do they punch it into the end zone?
Run the ball.
Blitz coming. St. John going to try to run and escape, and he will go down for a loss of 5 instead. Zach Howard, his 4th sack tonight.
Well, he's 1 away from tying the single-game record set by Michael Sudeikis in Season 2 at LSU. And so, I mean, I think he's going to get more opportunities because St. John right now just doesn't look really comfortable in the pocket. Another reason why I think they need to go to the read option and downhill running with Bentley Jones.
This makes it 2nd and 15. St. John to throw. and he will throw it short. Tyler Wilson had to come back, and he'll pick up 2. So this is still a very long third down.
Well, unless they go with a halfback screen here, which I think is a possibility, they might just give up on this drive. I think Zach Howard going to pin his ears back and come for the sack.
St. John to throw. Decent protection, and he had Irvin, but it's a little too far out in front of him, and so Florida will punt.
Well, I think St. John's feeling the pressure a little bit there as he threw that one too early. He had more time, but he gets rid of that one early, and now Florida's going to punt, and we'll see if Florida State can put together a drive.
That punt bouncing out inside the 10. We'll see where they spot it.
I think it's going to be at the 1 or the 2. I couldn't tell by that angle where it went out. 1.5. Bring the blitz. Go for a safety.
From the 1.5-yard line of this Florida defense, looking to pin their ears back. Lund trying to get something out of it. They'll give him a couple.
Oh, and this is the matchup that you should see. You should see run blitzing from the defense. You should see running from the offense. Don't get creative. Either your team wins it in the trenches or their team does, but don't turn it over.
Down to the 4-yard line. Hand off. Vidar Lund going backwards here as Fernando Rivera came through unabated to stop him for a loss of 1.
Well, great job there by Rivera. Reads that one, crashes through the hole where there was no blocker. And now in third and 9, they're going to be very careful. You don't want to turn it over, and you don't want to take a safety. Got to be careful with your play call.
Dennis Jackson out of the pistol. Going to motion to tight end Monte Jones. Play fake. And he's going to check it down for Jones. He's not going to get the first down. It's only a gain of 7 as KJ Wade steps up.
I like the play call on offense. They went to the right thing. They go to Monte Jones, but just a good job there by the Florida defense. And that shows you why it's so important if you can pin the team down inside the 5, as they have very limited options on offense.
Kellen Irvin going to give Matthias St. John really good field position. They're going to start this drive in the best spot they have all night, down inside the Florida State 40. But, Mike, they've kind of put themselves in a tough spot a few times tonight.
Well, first they got to avoid having St. John run in to Zach Howard and don't let him get his 5th sack, which would tie the single-game record. They've got 6 for the team. But I think, again, it starts with running downhill with Bentley Jones, and for whatever reason, Florida just doesn't seem to want to do that.
From the 48 of the Seminoles. Read option keeper St. John finding a crease and some room as he'll get all the way down to the 19 before he stopped.
Well, and it was a first down play, and it worked out really well, even though they haven't been going with Bentley Jones. Just think of how much more effective those plays could be if they really think you're going to hand that off there.
That's something that Bentley Jones opened up the game, had 2 carries, and he has had very few since on the season, only 53 and 266 rushing yards coming into this one. Here's a carry for him, though, and he will lose a yard due to the blitz.
And I think when they go back and they look at tape, they see plays like this. This is why they refuse to give him the ball more. But those are going to happen occasionally. You got to let them get a rhythm and build up some steam and start finding holes. They just go to him once, it doesn't work, and then they abandon it.
Only his 5th carry of the night is St. John, empty backfield, going to try to take off and run, and he'll run into his 7th sack of the night, courtesy of Latrell Graves, who records his 2nd.
Well, Latrell Graves wants a little bit of that smoke that Zach Howard's getting on the other side, and he comes with his 2nd sack, and now Florida going to have to settle for another field goal attempt.
3rd and 16 upcoming. Pistol set in a 2-by-2 formation. And St. John to throw. Takes a shot for the end zone, and it sails through the back of it, and likely going to call out Anthony Ammon.
Well, and that's fine. If you're going to take a shot there and you know it's not there, just overthrow it, put it where nobody else can catch it. At least get your 3 points out of it.
And Ammon doesn't make it. He doinks that one. And so our score remains the same, 10-6.
Well, despite it being overcast, it's a really nice night here, 72 with just a light breeze. So the weather is not playing a role here. These kickers, and most of it is setting them up from the wrong hash. They're constantly having the right-footed kickers are kicking from the right hash. It's just a tougher kick.
Play fake. It's a blitz, and he's able to thread that in. Jalen Waters making the catch from Adonis Jackson.
Well, going back to the field goals, in college the hash marks are wider than they are in the pros, and the pros are much more narrow, making those kicks easier. College, they're wider, and it's purposely making them tougher kicks. They want to see more offense.
And the read option keeper here doesn't get a whole lot. It's only a yard, and this Florida defense, Mike, they've played the run pretty well tonight.
Well, and they have, but they shut up a short 3rd and 1, has the Florida State offense. You can go read option or just pound it up the middle with Lund.
Read option keeper Adonis Jackson's got the first down, but he ain't getting much more outside of that. Only a gain of 7.
Well, Florida's defense is doing a very good job of shutting this down and limiting the big plays. They're doing exactly what they need to. They just need their offense to help them out a little.
And the motion man, they're going to give it to him as he tries to find a crease, and he'll get 4 yards out of that carry at 2nd and 6.
And Lund's averaging 5 yards per carry, so he's having himself a nice, effective game. And, like I said, Florida's just making them nickel and dime their way down the field, and eventually they're caving on it, basically. Their offense is giving in, and they're having to play.
Little angle route there gets Lund across the first down marker and across midfield. Ball spotted at the Florida 49-yard line as Adonis Jackson with a 4-wide set and a bubble screen to the right side. And Jalen Waters only getting 6 yards out of the play.
Well, that's a good play there. You're trying to spread out the defense with that play. You want to run the ball. You've shown that you want to run the ball. You're being fairly effective at it. Spread out the defense and go back to the run. They've got some room, although they're blitzing.
Florida showing that blitz here. They bring it as Adonis Jackson tried to keep it and run, but he's only going to be held to a yard here. And so the Florida defense again in a 3rd and short situation.
Well, the walk on Phillip King's the one that gets the stop there. So it's 3rd and 3. Can Florida get another stop and force a punt?
Jackson to throw. Blitz coming. Trying to stand in, and he's going to run into Muhammad Damore, who's going to allow Rivera to come up with a sack.
Well, it was a great job there by the Florida secondaries. They play man coverage there, tight man coverage, nowhere to go. Jackson's got to take off and run. Damore slows him down. Rivera finishes it off. Florida's defense did what they needed to. Now they need their offense to convert a drive.
I want to give a shout out to everybody in the live chat. Rocco, Alan, Tom Pence, Rick, Kilowatts, Bobby Jackson, Juan Cantu, Tom Pence. I know I saw Matt Pack in here earlier and a few others who, if I missed, I do apologize. As a decent return there.
I don't know if you said, I think you said Rick and Matthias St. John in here as well. We'll see what he could do on this drive. Really need to get in the end zone.
Gonna look to throw to open it up, and then he's gonna take off and run. And Matthias St. John got all kinds of room as he slides all the way down to the 40. They're going to spot that back a little bit as Tom Pence was in pursuit.
Well, he likes to scramble to that side, and he's daring Zach Howard to get another sack, but he does a good job there of getting outside and picking up the big gain.
So from the 19, they're out to the 38, and that is where going to come out with another empty backfield, and St. John to throw to the right sideline. Kellen Irvin picks up 3.
Well, they get the nice gain, and then they go back to the short pass on the outside. I'm going to keep saying it. Bentley Jones, that's your savior. That's your bastion of hope.
Midline read. St. John got a block from Bentley Jones, and as he pinballs his way across to the first down, that will bring us close to the end of the 3rd quarter, and that'll do it. As Florida down by 4, but their offense and their defense still within striking distance, and St. John trying to lead a scoring drive. We'll see if he can pull it off. You're watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube Live. Start of the 4th quarter, empty backfield here from Matthias St. John, much of the way he ended the 3rd. And St. John to throw into traffic, and that pass incomplete.
You're playing with fire the more you throw the ball against this defense. They did go after the walk-on, but they make a nice play there. But they're getting tight coverage on the outside, not a lot of room to operate. St. John's done well when he runs. He's just not going to get enough. He's not getting enough carries, neither is Jones.
check down there for Kellen Irvin. It gets 6 yards. Who, by the way, Irvin, 9 catches, 110 here tonight.
Did we find out who Flaming Fist is, by the way? I see him posted in chat. I don't know if I've seen it. Okay.
He's new. He just recently joined, so want to appreciate you stopping by and tune back in as you look forward to figuring out where you're going to play Flaming Fist and where your player will take the field as Florida, like they are driving against this Florida State defense.
Well, they got to pound it now. They really got to get it into the end zone, however they go about it.
St. John to throw out into the flat on the right side. There's Bentley Jones picking up 8 yards.
Look at that power out there. He just throws off the defender like he's not there. I think it was Tom Pence. But you got to give that guy, he's just such a bell cow. You got to give him more opportunities to make plays like that.
Feed the man, says Mike, and they will do so here on 2nd down, and there's why Mike has been crying for that. A gain of 6 for him.
Well, and again, he throws off the first guy, and he picks up the first down. We'll see now. Maybe they're in the red zone if they go to it more.
Down to the 17-yard line. St. John going to hand it to him again. Bentley Jones gets away from Zach Howard, who finally drags him down, but it's a 9-yard run this time for Jones.
Well, I can see Hunky Dory on the sideline looking like the guy from, I can't think of his name, Smithers from
The
Simpsons, just twiddling his fingers like we got him right where we want him. They've been throwing the ball all game, and now they start using Bentley Jones, and look how it's working for him.
Well, then they spread out the defense, go to the wide receiver screen to Tyler Wilson. That makes it 1st and goal from the 6. From the gun, St. John to throw. And he's going to throw to the end zone. Caught. Kellen Irvin. Touchdown, Gators.
Boy, was that a dangerous throw. He throws it in the coverage, but credit, he drops it in there, and Irvin gets his first touchdown of the season, and Florida gets their first lead of the game. Their defense is playing very well. Can they protect this 3-point lead now, though?
Not just their first lead of the game, Mike, but their first touchdown of the game. And with 6.5 to play, they're up by 3.
Yeah, 13-10 game. I don't know if anybody expected this, although maybe we should have with these two defenses. Florida State pressure on now. Can they convert a drive and at least get a field goal?
Well, there were 2 over-under lines in the sportsbook, and the lowest of the 2 was 52.5.
Nobody
and
bet
we
that from what I saw.
Cry from that.
Yeah, nobody even took the under either.
That pass from Adonis Jackson dropped by Lund on 1st down.
Apparently, Lund took the under on a certain amount of catches because he had no interest in holding on to that one.
He's had a couple of those drops here tonight, and then he'll respond with a big play as Jackson finds Jade Brady, who takes a hard shot from Wyatt King.
Well, I'd like to, if they're going to go 5 wide there, I mean, they went with the underneath there. They had a couple of crossing routes and they go underneath. But find a way to get Tom Pence. He's your best athlete on the field when you go 5 wide. See if you can't get him open.
Wyatt King tonight, 8 tackles. And a tackle for a loss as well, but it's 3rd and 4 wide. Jackson to throw, trying to step up. Muhammad Damore brings him down. The ball came free, but the Florida State offensive lineman recovers, and it's 4th and 6.
Well, this has been the biggest knock on Jackson all season is his penchants for turnovers. He's thrown 4 interceptions. I believe that's his 3rd fumble, and he's lost 1. So a little shaky there. They weren't going to get the first down, but the fumble just makes it a little bit more concerning. And now Florida got the opportunity to extend their 3-point lead if they can put together another drive.
Muhammad Damore came up with a strip sack, his first sack of the night here. And Kellen Irvin trying to generate a decent return here. But as you said, Mike, Florida feeling really good. They're up by 3, and the way they've been controlling this game offensively from a time standpoint, they've got to feel really good.
Well, and again, like I said, I envision Rick hunky-dory over on the sideline just twiddling his fingers with that little Smithers look saying, I got him right where I want him. You know, unfortunately, I think they could be even further ahead. I think if they ran the ball, but it's working for them. And like I said, I think they feel like they're in a good spot here.
Empty backfield, and Matthias St. John in a precarious spot as he'll go with a quarterback draw. He'll get 3 yards, and Mike, your one concern at this point is that St. John does not turn it over.
Well, why did you say he was in a precarious spot?
Because he's got to avoid turnovers. It's a precarious drive from that standpoint. And off here, Bentley Jones picking up 3 yards himself, and now this offense staring at a 3rd and 4.
Well, they go with the QB sneak, or the QB draw on the first play, and then they hand it off. It's okay. They're in a reasonable spot here, but they got to convert.
St. John to throw, going to take off and run. And he cannot outrun the walk-on on defense. It's only a gain of 2, and he needed 5.
Well, Bentley Jones is there, too, smacking his hands. He's just, oh, if I would have turned around just a second sooner, I could have got that block and sprung my quarterback for the first. Credit to Florida State. They get the turnover, or they force them to punt, rather. And now they need Adonis Jackson to bounce back from that fumble and put a drive together.
Lund shows a little power there of the 7-yard return, but they forced the 3 and out in part because Florida ran the ball 3 times and the defense just wasn't giving up anything. But now Adonis Jackson an opportunity to try to get this lead back.
Well, we'll see what he can do. He's got to protect the ball. That's the biggest thing.
Jackson to throw, 3-man rush, and he is forced to throw that into his own sideline. Mike, just great coverage downfield.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Florida. They are just not giving him much room. They're definitely not giving up the big play. They're playing the run very well, just not making a lot of space and room to work.
4.5 minutes to play. Jackson over the middle. There's Lund, and a first down here for the Seminoles.
Well, if I was Florida State, I'd run about 10 of those angle routes a game because they work almost every time they run it.
As long as Lund doesn't drop it.
No, but it's like little curl routes that he drops it.
And that pass over to the left sideline, a laser for Monte Jones, who gets 13.
Well, it looks like that fumble might have lit a fire under Adonis Jackson as Florida State's moving the ball about as effectively as we've seen, at least early on in this drive.
Jones in motion, handoff, Vidar Lund got tripped up after picking up 3 yards there. He was hoping to get a lot more than that.
Well, he was, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of that, and maybe some read option. We talked about it. Jackson, he's explosive when he gets to the open field. He just hasn't really had an opportunity.
And off Lund to the inside, fighting forward. He'll get 7 yards, just shy of that first down.
One more time. Go with a read option there. You can either give it to Lund or Jackson keeps it, get the first down, unless they show blitz here, which they're not.
And the gun, 2-by-2 look. Jackson to throw, blitz coming. Throw in middle, that pass broken up by KJ Wade, who's been an unsung hero for this defense tonight.
Yeah, Wade's having a really good game. Credit to him. I don't mind that play if they're going to run it here, but I don't think they're going to.
4th and 1, handoff Lund. He's got the first down and more. Down inside the Florida 35.
Well, so that's okay. If you knew you were going to go for it on 4th down, and I don't mind the pass on 3rd down, you went with the run, you've got the first down, and now you got the Florida defense reeling a bit.
Jackson to throw, 3-man rush, and that pass threaded in, but popped free, courtesy of Wyatt King.
Yeah, Wyatt King laying the lumber there, 6'1", 245. He's a big man, and he shows his power on that one.
Trips top of the screen. Jackson to throw. And he'll fire it to that side. Jalen Waters will pick up 8 yards. And so once again, a very manageable 3rd down situation.
Well, it is. And, we talked about we haven't had a punt return since season 1. We haven't had a kick return for a touchdown all season. We also haven't had an overtime game yet this season.
We have not, and we might be gifted with one tonight as Adonis Jackson gets a first down, and he takes a hard hit there, but gets down to the edge of the red zone.
And I like to see that, and I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit more. Like I said, Lund's great up the middle. Jackson is dangerous on the outside.
Empty backfield, 3-man rush. That pass caught. Down inside the 5 is Waters.
Well, it was a nice pass there. You get down inside the 5. Now I want to see what I was calling for in the last drive. 2 read options at least to start this drive.
So Adonis Jackson been playing well and efficient tonight. Had the fumble, but it didn't really result in a turnover. And now ball spotted at the 3. And they're coming
to the
out.
right. Toss to the right. Touchdown if you do it.
High formation.
There it is.
Toss to the right, and there's Vidar Lund for the walk-in touchdown. And Florida State back out in front with 2:15 to play.
Well, it was an excellent drive from Florida State. They had one when they needed one. They got the touchdown, and now they've got the 4-point lead, and the pressure reverts back to Florida. They need to get their second touchdown of the night, and they've struggled doing it.
So Blake Harrell makes this a 4-point game once again. And Mike, Florida was able to finally get their first lead. It took them forever to do it. And now they're on the back foot of this.
Well, no overtime coming, it looks like. Florida just needs to put together a great drive and get a touchdown.
Kellen Irvin nearly had a crease, and we had the potential to see our first kick return for a touchdown of the night. You look at the second half, and Mike, really in both halves, these offenses have just been neck and neck with each other. Same for the defenses.
Well, it's been great defense, I think, more than anything. The defenses have been really good. The offenses haven't been bad. Florida's been a little questionable with not running it more, but I mean, both great defenses, both sides, and great play there to start the drive for Florida.
20-yard pass play there from Matthias St. John to the walk-on Ashton Jones. And you see the numbers there for St. John, 23 of 33, up over 200 yards passing. He does have the one interception that he threw on the opening drive, but he's also got a touchdown pass.
Well, this is kind of what Florida's done all season, and they've played very similar to this. They just need to convert on this drive here, and they got exactly what they wanted.
Bentley Jones going backwards, stopped for a 3-yard loss because of Latrell Graves coming through untouched.
Well, these two defensive ends are showing how important a defensive line can be, and they're definitely making things more difficult for this Florida offense.
Wide, St. John looking to throw, going short, and going to his knees to catch that one was Jones to pick up the yardage lost on the previous play.
Yeah, and it was a bad throw there by St. John. Might have slipped out of his hands. 3rd and 10. It's gonna be a 4-down play, so you need at least half of it here.
St. John to throw,
Woo!
throwing short, and a huge shot to Kellen Irvin.
That was like John Elway at the goal line in the Super Bowl, but it was at midfield, and Irvin, that's like that old P.D. Pablo song, twist it like a helicopter, and he twisted like one there.
St. John to throw on 4th and 10, takes in a shot,
Wow.
wide open, touchdown Florida.
Huevos of steel is all I can say. That reminds me of Matt Leinart on that 4th down play against Notre Dame, where he dialed up the big play. Matthias St. John does it there, goes deep to Irvin for the touchdown, and now the pressure is back on Florida State.
In a moment and in a game when Florida has struggled to generate offense, Matthias St. John finds his big play receiver, who's up over 150 receiving yards here tonight, and the Gators are back out in front by 3. But Mike, the Seminoles, 3 timeouts in 1:17 to play.
Well, you know, Irvin only had 97 yards receiving coming into this game, so he's more than doubled his season total in this game. They moved him into the slot. It looks to be a great play, or a great decision by the Florida coaching staff, and they've got themselves in position to win. They need one more stop out of their defense.
With the touchback, the ball comes out to the 25, and we get to see what Adonis Jackson is made of as they open up with a draw for Loon. And he'll be met by Wyatt King after picking up 6.
Kind of a questionable decision to go with a draw play there late in the game.
20 carries, 103 yards for Loon, as here is a catch for him. He'll pick up 8 yards on that play, and Florida State going no huddle.
Well, they got all 3 first downs, and you stop the clock when you get first downs.
From the gun, Jackson throwing to the sideline. That pass caught by Monte Jones. He gets 7.
It kind of feels to me a little bit like Florida State might be playing for the tie here. They definitely don't want to turn it over, because then that's ball game. We'll see how it plays out on this drive.
Jackson making an adjustment and calling for the motion of Jones. As he's going to take off and run, Muhammad Damore and Barkevius Oswald work together to bring him down for a loss of 1.
Well, they definitely bottle up. It's a medium 3rd down here, but they got to go for it on 4th down if they don't get it.
Florida State takes their first time out. Jackson to throw. Wingo with the pressure, and Jackson has to throw it away. And now, Mike, on 4th and 4, this is the ball game.
Well, the defensive line for both of these teams has made a huge difference in this game. Crucial play here for Florida State.
Florida defense trying to get their home fans involved. Is Jackson to throw. Floating it left sideline.
Wow.
That pass caught, but they're going to say he's in.
I think they need to review that, because I thought he was bobbling that. I didn't think it in. A little home cooking. Well, I guess road cooking on the call there.
1st and 10 from inside the 45. Jackson firing it to the middle, and that pass caught by Kamori and Moore. The Seminoles take a timeout after the 12-yard play.
What a pivotal play there on that sideline. I still want to go back and look at it and see if he caught it, but that definitely helped out Florida State.
Jackson throwing middle, and Jalen Waters gets it down inside the 15.
Well, you got to give credit to Florida State. They're not misusing that gift that they were given.
Trips to the left, this Florida defense reeling. Jackson to throw to the end zone. That pass caught, but he's at the goal line.
Well, honestly, if I was Florida, I'd almost rather let him get it in because they're more than likely going to get in here, and now they're just taking more time off the clock.
Donis Jackson to throw to the end zone. Back corner, that pass broken up.
Why do you throw that into one-on-one coverage? Run the ball, for God's sakes.
2nd and goal, 19 seconds to play, but the clock stops.
It's wide open up the middle.
Pass.
Run it, Lund.
Jackson to throw. Pressure coming back of the end zone. That pass incomplete. 3rd and goal.
David, I don't even have any hair, and I'm pulling it out. I can't imagine being either one of these ADs right now.
In the pistol,
Inside zone.
Adonis Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Pressure.
Wow.
Jackson, touchdown.
That was as ugly as a play as you're going to see, but somehow Adonis Jackson finds his way in, and it looks like that's going to be the winning play for Florida State.
If you're Florida State, do you kick it deep or do you try to squib it?
Well, considering we haven't seen a kick return for a touchdown, yeah, kick it deep. Yeah, make them go as far as possible.
So Florida State led by Adonis Jackson, and what a drive to put together and take the lead back with 11 seconds. And Florida seeking a miracle, and Kellen Irvin will not bring this out. He'll kneel it and leave Matthias St. John with 11 seconds and 3 timeouts.
Yeah, nothing against Matthias St. John, but I mean, he was, like I said, Huevos the steal on the last drive. He got the touchdown, so maybe he can come up with something. But the Florida State defense, unless they just completely bushwhack this, all they got to do is play deep and not let somebody get behind them. And so they've got maybe 3 if they get one out quick. But you got to move the ball downfield. You can throw it over the middle. You got timeouts. We'll see what happens.
St. John to throw. Left sideline, quick throw there for Irvin, but that pass incomplete.
I don't understand what the point of that one is. That does absolutely nothing for you. Now you just took more time off the clock.
Down to 8 seconds to play. Pistol set, St. John. Gonna take off and run. Trying to stay alive. He'll get 4 yards with it. It's 3rd and 6. 3 seconds remain.
Yeah, St. John, his youth is still showing here. Is just not making good decisions on this drive.
John to throw. Loading up. Here's the deep ball. And that pass incomplete. No, it's caught by Tyler Wilson. But the clock has run out. And that will do it.
Well, that was one of the crazier finishes that we'll see in this league. That last drive by Florida State. Wow, how frustrating was that they didn't run the ball. Somehow they still got it in, and maybe they were like, hey, we're doing exactly what we want. We're not leaving them much time on the clock. I thought they were playing with fire and dangerously close to either giving that up or only getting the tie. They get the touchdown, and then Florida State's play calling and execution, a little questionable on their final drive, but overall, what a game. I mean, a fantastic way to end week 5, and it's going to set up even more fantastic games next week.
It is, and so Florida State coming out on top here, and they get that win 24-20 in dramatic fashion at that, and that will do it for us from Gainesville. We will be back next week for the Inside Blitz podcast. That'll be on Monday, and then that'll be part of a 2-part doubleheader, Texas and Notre Dame USC and Oregon, followed by Florida and Clemson. That'll be on Monday. For Mike, I'm David. We'll see you back here.